Good morning.
Good morning.
And welcome to Neighborhood Unitarian Universalist Church in Pasadena. Welcome to all members, friends, and guests. My name is Margaret Wilcox, and I'm a member of your Board of Trustees. Neighborhood Church creates and grows an inclusive community of faith, connected by love, spirit, and service. We acknowledge our presence on the ancestral and unceded territory of the Gabrielina Tongva peoples, the traditional caretakers of the lands and waters of this campus. With respect for the rights and wisdom of Indigenous people, we acknowledge our harmful colonial histories and commit to decolonizing our own practices, to learning new ways of being in community and with each other, in good relationship with the Indigenous people of this land and with the land itself. Today's service is led by pulpit guest seminarian Nicholas D'Augusto, with music by music director Dr. Zenaida Robles and associate music director Wells Lang. Please take a moment to silence your devices as we begin the service. Families with young children are always welcome in the sanctuary, and there is additional seating in the entry foyer or narthex. I have three brief announcements. As you can see, we have rearranged the sanctuary a bit. Please bear with us as we continue to refine the setup over the summer. Reverend Omega is looking for members who would like to serve as worship associates this coming year. Worship associates will help with services by giving announcements, readings, planning the arch of worship over the year, and occasionally giving personal reflections or other elements of the service. Please contact her if you are interested. Training will happen in late August. Ginger Furry, our membership coordinator, and Reverend Omega are also looking for Sunday ambassadors to help make our gatherings a success by fulfilling welcoming and ushering duties and connecting visitors and members to resources in our community. If you'd like to know more, reach out to Ginger or Reverend Omega. There will also be a training for this group in late August. More extensive announcements, as well as our order of service this morning, are available as a link in the Sunday email. Our order of service is also visible online by scanning the QR code on the back of your hymnal with your phone camera. Again, welcome to Neighborhood Church, whoever you are and wherever you are in your spiritual journey. Welcome to this inclusive faith community connected by love, spirit, and service.
Hello, everyone. As mentioned, my name is Nicholas D'Augusto, and I'm a Unitarian Universalist seminarian. And for those of you that don't know me, I'm a member, my family and I are members here at Neighborhood. It's really nice to see you all today. My pronouns are he, him. I'm a white, cishet, endosex male. You're endosex if you're not intersex, with brown hair and brown eyes. I'm 6'1", slender, and I'm wearing my polka dot dark blue shirt, my rust-colored pants. I want to thank you all for welcoming me again as your pulpit guest today. And I hope you don't mind, there was a time for centering later in the sermon, but I think I'd really like to do it right now, briefly, before I light the chalice. And the reason is, it feels like such an honor to get to be the first person to deliver a sermon in the new arrangement of the space. And there are a lot of people here that have been members a lot longer than me, and it's got to be strange to all of a sudden be looking this direction. And so I thought that maybe this would be a good time to just take in what's new for those of you that are looking at it for the first time. A couple of things that really jump out for those people. I have some friends here that have never been here. This is never up front. It's always been like back in the narthex, and I think it's really beautiful. I think it's awesome that we found a way to bring this back up front so that people can look at it throughout the sermon. And also now the hallway connects to the narthex, so I think there's some really fun things to just focus on. So I'm going to give us just a minute to think, okay? For our chalice lighting today, I have excerpts from the blessing In Praise of Fire by John O'Donohue. Let us praise the grace and risk of fire. In the name of the fire, the flame, and the light, praise the pure presence of fire that burns from within, without thought of time. As air intensifies the hunger of fire, may the thought of death breathe new urgency into our love of life. May we discover beneath our fear embers of anger to kindle justice. May courage cause our lives to flame in the name of the fire and the flame and the light. In the name of the fire, the flame, stay with me, and the light.
Good morning. My name is Tiffany. Please join in singing our opening hymn, number 346, Come Sing a Song with Me. Please rise in body or in spirit. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me, that I might know your mind. And I walk in rain with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time.
Each Sunday, our congregation dedicates 100% of its contributions to 501c3 organizations or neighborhood church-based social justice activities that are making a difference in our community and our world. Each selected guest organization aligns with our community's mission and values and is nominated by church members who often are longtime volunteers and supporters of these change-making organizations. You can donate in one of two ways. You can use your cell phone to donate by texting the number on the screen, or if you'd prefer to donate in person, put your donation in one of 3 designated boxes during the music or after the service. There is a donation box here, behind the back center row. I'm not sure there's a center row. Anyway, that's what the script says. Back there somewhere. And in the narthex entryway on the table. Please extend help to those in your neighborhood who may need assistance reaching the donation box. If you wish to make a payment toward your pledge or contribute to church operations, make a note in the subject line or use an envelope available at the donation boxes. This week, our gifts will support Young and Healthy. Here to tell us more is Ellen Kramer, Executive Director. Ellen?
Good morning, everyone. I'm Ellen Kramer. I'm the Executive Director of Young and Healthy, and I want to start by just really extending my heartfelt thanks for inviting me into this beautiful space. It's such an inspiration, and the piano music was just lovely, so thank you. I'm sort of smiling to myself this morning as I'm watching people come in and comment about the change of chairs and the setup. This is somebody who, excuse me, frequently changes the furniture in my house just to get a new perspective. Makes my husband crazy. It occurred to me that in many ways, the staff and volunteers of Young and Healthy are experiencing something very similar with my becoming the executive director. So over the years, I'm sure you've heard from Mary Donnelly Crocker. She was the original amazing light that founded Young and Healthy and worked for over 30 years to ensure its success. So I've only been in this position for less than 2 years, so I'm still playing the new card. But I can tell you that we still burn bright for justice. Health equity is really what we're all about. And if we haven't talked about it in quite those terms, I can assure you we're still on track. Our mission is what it's always been, to enhance the health of families by providing access to high quality health care and wellness education. And I thought I'd just bring you a quick story. I was told I have 3 minutes, and I'm gonna really try to honor that. I'm a lawyer by training, so forgive me. But it occurred to me that I was thinking about some of the kids that we serve. And in this last school year, we got a call from a PUSD high school about a young girl, a high school student, who had collapsed and passed out in the girls' restroom. As it turned out, she had been suffering from some pretty intense stomach pain for a number of days, but was too afraid to say anything. Because it turned out she didn't have lawful status in the country, and she was in the care of her sister, who was only 19. And so between the two of them, they didn't have health insurance, and they were too afraid to say anything for fear of being removed. And so PUSD has a long-time partnership with us. They gave us a call. We sprang into action. Thanks to Huntington Hospital, we were able to pick up the phone and get her over there to be seen immediately. The good news is that she's fine. She had a pretty extensive infection that they were able to clear up. But we didn't stop there, and we never stop there. The jargon is we go upstream, but that's exactly what we do. We made sure that both of these young women had health insurance. We do so much work in the community around health insurance enrollment because it's such a pathway to good health. And so we are busy every day with our certified insurance enrollers, making sure people are in Medi-Cal, that they're in covered California plans, whatever they're eligible for, and even more, that they know how to use them. I don't know about you, but every time I get an explanation of benefits in the mail, I know it's bad news, right? And I can tell you, without getting too personal, that there was one really benign test that my doctor used to want to do, and it was only $5. They continually fought over it with me. And I knew every time I got the letter, it was going to be hours on the phone, so I found the right person to say, yes, you're covered. So can you imagine if English isn't your first language, you're new to the country, you're new to the state, you've never had to deal with insurance, how intimidating that is. And so what we do is make sure that our counselors are there to walk people through it, to be their advocate, to stand beside them, to make sure, again, that they have access to excellent care. Our direct referrals, last year we referred over 1,500 kids for either medical, dental, behavioral health care, got them involved in our mobile dental clinics that we run with USC, got them enrolled in vision care clinics so that they had access to eye exams and free eyeglasses if they needed it. In January through April, we did free tax preparation clinics in conjunction with Cal State LA's VITA volunteer program. And what that meant is we brought 363 people in over the course of about 12 Saturdays and made sure that they filed their taxes. And the end result was that about a little over $466,000 in tax credits and refunds went back into the pockets of our hardworking people in our community. And what that means is they have that money to make sure that their children, their families can really thrive. And that's what Young and Healthy is all about. So for those of you who have been with us all these years, thank you so much. It's such a pleasure to meet you. I hope I'll get to talk with some of you after the service. Please continue to support us. We have so many volunteer opportunities. We'd love to get you involved. We'd love to have you come to our events. And of course, your treasure is always so important to us to make sure that not one child in Pasadena and in this greater area goes without essential care. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Ellen, and thank you all for giving generously.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Adrian, one of the staff musicians here, along with Tiffany and Wells. This is Let Beauty Awake.
In the hour when the birds
following are excerpts from the book The Fire Next Time by James Baldwin. Here is what we do not wish to face, and what white Americans do not wish to face when they regard a Negro: reality. The fact that life is tragic. Life is tragic simply because the earth turns and the sun inexorably rises and sets, and one day for each of us, the sun will go down for the last time. Perhaps the whole root of our trouble, the human trouble, is that we will sacrifice all the beauty of our lives, will imprison ourselves in order to deny the fact of death, which is the only fact we have. It seems to me that one ought to rejoice in the fact of death, ought to decide indeed to earn one's death by confronting with passion the conundrum of life. One is responsible to life. It is the small beacon in that terrifying darkness from which we come and to which we shall return. One must negotiate this passage as nobly as possible for the sake of those who are coming after us. But white Americans do not believe in death, and this is why the darkness of my skin so intimidates them. It is the responsibility of free people to trust and to celebrate what is constant. Birth, struggle, and death are constant, and so is love, though we may not always think so. And it is their responsibility to apprehend the nature of change, to be able and willing to change. I speak of change not on the surface, but in the depths. Change in the sense of renewal. But renewal becomes impossible if one supposes things to be constant that are not. Safety, for example, or money, or power. So just a small warning about the sermon. Fear, safety, privilege, fate, ancient gods, death of a child, of someone close to you. I talk about these themes in my sermon today. So please take care of yourself if it's making you uncomfortable at any point, or worse, if it's really triggering something in you. You have my blessing to get up and leave at any point, including now, and I really mean that. You can go hang out outside. And please know that I'll be eager and available to hear any thoughts of yours after the service, even the ones where you might be mad at me. I hope you're not mad at me, but you might be, I don't know. Anyway, thank you.
And the downward slope, I have endured and done in days before. I have longed for all and bid farewell to hope.
Don't say your deepest wishes out loud, or else they won't come true. Don't say your darkest fears out loud, or else they will come true. Fate is terrifying, isn't it? No one wants to be responsible in any way for the whims of fate. Keep your mouth shut. Don't jinx it. These are ancient electrical currents we can still plug into today. When something terrible happens, we yearn for a reason. And when there is no reason, we'll invent one. Don't tempt fate. Don't say it out loud. Bloody Mary. Does anyone know this legend? Yeah. Bloody Mary is this apparition that appears when someone looks in the mirror and says, Bloody Mary 3 times in a row, or other times. It kind of depends on who you're talking to, how many times you have to say it. Maybe it's based on Mary I of England, who got that nickname after she burned 300 Protestants at the stake. Definitely it's misogynistic because, how many men in history have killed so many more people than that and didn't get a similar legend? But whatever the case, when Bloody Mary, the apparition, is summoned, she might tell you the future, or she might kill you. Bloody Mary. Bloody Mary. You feeling lucky? It's a powerful narrative symbol. Don't tempt fate. Don't call its name. Fate isn't a joke. Fate doesn't care about your best laid plans. Fate doesn't care about what you want for your birthday, or if they call you back, or if you get that job, or if the diagnosis is terminal. At best, fate spares you. But draw attention to yourself and something you really want, whoa, that's when fate will screw you. At least that's what we're afraid of. For eons, the human mind conjured gods as the inscrutable controllers of fate. To the oldest of the Israelite ancients, God very much had this power. His demands, however, were explicit. Deuteronomy is a book from the Hebrew Torah that was written 2,600 years ago. Chapter 28, verses 58 through 61. If you do not diligently observe all the words of this law that are written in this book, fearing this glorious and awesome name, the Lord your God, then the Lord will overwhelm both you and your offspring with severe and lasting afflictions and grievous and lasting maladies. He will bring back upon you all the diseases of Egypt, of which you were in dread, and they shall cling to you. Every other malady and affliction, even though not recorded in the book of this law, the Lord will inflict on you until you are destroyed. Whew. There's an ancient electrical generator for you. Now, obviously, the Judaism of 2,600 years ago is not the Judaism of today. Okay? All traditions evolve and split in different directions. And the many spiritualities and theologies in our world are, at their best, part of a dynamic, vibrant, and mutually beneficial cultural world conversation. And I'm grateful to count myself a part of that exchange. But Deuteronomy encapsulates an ancient primal fear that many of us can still connect to and touch. The Hebrew God's name is referred to as the Tetragrammaton, 4 letters, YHWH. You add the vowels when you speak it, and many people, especially Christians, speak this name all the time. But by 2,200 years ago, 400 years after Deuteronomy, Israelites had stopped saying the Tetragrammaton out loud, believing it too sacred to be uttered. Still today, many Orthodox and conservative Jews do not speak it, even during services. Fear this glorious and awesome name. Who is it that has something to fear? We all know the colloquial answer to this: only those of us with something to lose. I mean, I have a lot to lose. I have a wife, a son, a home, a future. Like you, I have fears at the very depth of my being. And these are fears I do not wish to say out loud. And yet it strikes me. Here is another privilege of mine. The privilege that my worst fears haven't come true. That as of now, at this moment, they are just fears. Horrifying, but unlikely thought exercises. Terror-inducing, but low probability, imaginative scenarios. It's not that way for everyone. Fate doesn't privilege all of us. The Geneva Academy, a human rights watchdog, states that there are 110 active armed conflicts in the world. There are 45 in the Middle East and North Africa, obviously Palestine and Israel, but also Syria, Turkey, Yemen. 35 in Middle and Southern Africa, like Sudan and South Sudan, but also Somalia, Cameroon, Kenya. 21 in Asia, nuclear dangers involving India, Pakistan, and China, but also smaller ones like Myanmar and the Philippines. 7 in Europe, all surrounding the Ukraine and Russian war. And finally, Latin America, where drug cartels have become so powerful and organized that there are 3 cartels each terrorizing Colombia and Mexico. Why them? I do not believe my spoken words can affect the outcomes of fate. So this is my fear spoken out loud. Do not take my son. This happens somewhere every day. If something like this has happened to you or someone you love, I am so deeply sorry. For those to whom the odds of this horror happening are greater, that is an oppressive fate. It might look like the war they don't care about and didn't ask for. The arid land they can't cultivate because of drought and corruption. The pallet of humanitarian aid that falls on a crowd and kills 5. Just another day or year or decade for the ill-fated. So then in this context, what is privilege? It's when fate only visits in the most unlucky circumstances. Cataclysmic tragedies. My heart bleeds for you if some kind of surprise tragedy has visited you or someone you love, and undoubtedly it has. But for many, fate does not arrive as a tragic surprise. They will lose a loved one to malnourishment, to unclean water, to distance from health care, which is a part of our conversation today. I hate thinking about it, but most of the world's population is ravaged by these kinds of mundane, everyday terrors. And this is where I'm going to just get angry for a second. Didn't science already solve these atrocities? I mean, what the hell happened? Did we all get too tired to tell everyone about it? In my daily life, the fear of losing my son makes me present. The fear reminds me to listen to the next whimsical 7-year-old story that erupts from his mind, or to let him beat me again at some new game he conceives while I'm shopping at the supermarket. But this isn't real existential fear. This is just mindfulness. Awareness of the temporality of life, awareness of its fragility and finitude. I don't believe God chooses who lives and who dies. I don't believe God is a person, as the ancient texts conceive the deity. What takes a child is fate. Not God, not Bloody Mary. one of the only things that can defend against the whims of fate with any practical success is privilege. I have immense privilege. I'm still vulnerable, but I am privileged and much less vulnerable directly due to that privilege. Knowing this, that I am not subject to the same fate as so many others in this world, do I not have some responsibility to them? Do we not have some responsibility to each other? Relationships and community can be a bulwark against fate, my seminary friend wrote to me. There can be those with little economic wealth who hold immense relational wealth, and this is undoubtedly true. The value of our relationships, that value is priceless, and we need more than just financial privilege to live a healthy, thriving life. But communities of relational wealth in the war-torn countries I mentioned earlier are less privileged than the communities of relational wealth most, if not all of us, share in this room. Economic privilege and the privilege of our locations have so much to say about the quality of our lives that they influence the parameters of fate. I understand that many see it more as a sign of respect today than fear, but we don't get struck by lightning when we say the Tetragrammaton. We don't meet Bloody Mary when we say her name in the mirror. We are subject to the whims of fate on a sliding scale of privilege. The more privilege I have, the less I need to worry about bad luck. And if one aspect of privilege is simply just having a higher standard of living, then the more people to whom we can provide a better quality of life, the more we can influence fate. Our actions have real consequences. What we do really means something. So then what on earth should we do? I can't offer you any new answers, and I'm desperately hoping some of you can give me yours. Nor do I think we can just raise the world's standard of living by snapping our fingers. And yet we can influence the world around us. We can live with agency in our lives. And with agency comes hope for change. So here are a few not new, humble things I currently tell myself. If you can spare it, give some money to a place where you know it'll do something you care about. And it's okay to feel good when you contribute to the betterment of your community. Be present in your life. That's the best way to notice the little things you can change. Gather with others. People have pulled off amazing successes in history, even recent history, and that's surprising, and that's inspiring and surprising. Acknowledge everyone, and don't be afraid of how they respond to you. People feel it when they are seen and witnessed, even if they don't say it or show it. Challenge yourself to forgive, to offer grace, both to others and to yourself. Fate is often an unseen malady, and it can bring out the worst in us, even when we don't intend it. Finally, I want to offer this. Accept, for our own sense of peace, the overwhelming truth that there will always be things outside of our control, but reject the assumption that we are powerless in the face of all of it. Everywhere you look around you, the stop sign, the building codes, the shoes on your feet, the seat belts, nutrition labels, fire hydrants, unleaded gas, water fountains, sewage plants, earthquake shutoff valves, fluoride toothpaste, radio waves, 2-ply toilet paper, duct tape, ibuprofen. There and in so many other places, every day, effective defenses against the unpredictable chaos of our world can be seen. every human is subject to the whims of fate. And it is justifiable that all of us should harbor our fears of it. But part of owning my privilege is truly acknowledging where I sit on fate's sliding scale and taking responsibility to really look in the mirror, unafraid of what I might find in it, and work to bolster my community's defenses as best I see them and as best I'm able. I'm counting on all of you to do the same.
Please rise in body or in spirit and join us in singing our closing hymn, number 126, Come, Thou Fount of Every Blessing. Come, Thou Fount of every blessing, tune our hearts to sing Thy grace. Streams of mercy never ceasing, call for songs of loudest praise. While the hope of life's perfection fills our hearts with joy and love, teach us ever to be faithful. May we still Thy goodness prove. Come, Thou fount of every vision, lift our eyes to what may come. See the lion and the young lamb dwell together in Thy home. Hear the cries of war silent, feel around the lifeless sound. When we all serve one another, then our heaven is begun. Come, Thou fount of inspiration, turn our lives to higher ways. Lift our gloom and desperation, show the promise of this day. Help us find ourselves in union, help all hands stand above. With Thine aid, O fount of justice, earth be fair as heaven above.
The following are excerpts from the blog post, Gifting My Attention, by Adrienne Marie Brown. Seek that which feels real, tangible, visceral, and positively motivating. Our time is this miraculous limitation, and perhaps the only real limitation we face. Each day in these bodies can be purposeful or can be wasted. In my life, liberating myself from media and most gossip has given me more time to do the things I often wished I could do. Give love and attention to those who need and request it. Meditate. Eat healthy. Yoga. Compost. Be present in my relationships. Be myself. Now I notice when I work with people who experience scarcity around time, they almost always spend a lot of time tracking, processing, and proliferating news cycles on which they personally have negligible impact. I always want to ask what they are gifting their time to. Do they realize how precious their attention really is? Do you?